Rebecca Lynn Jones, born January 1, 1964, was convicted for the murder of her mother, Jane Jones, in May of 2010. An altercation ensued, ending in Jane's death. Rebecca's defense was that Jane saw the gun Rebecca kept in her purse and lunged for it. The two fought over the gun, and it accidentally discharged twice during the struggle. Numerous witnesses testified that Rebecca and Jane had always had a tumultuous relationship and argued often. The family members and friends who testified knew that Rebecca had suffered from drug and alcohol addiction earlier in her life. November 1989, Rebecca deeded some land to Jane that her father had left her in his will. The state alleges that the transfer took place because of Rebecca's drug problems. Rebecca claims instead that the transfer was in part because of her drug addiction and in part because she was unable to pay taxes on the property. According to Rebecca, Jane agreed that she would deed the land back to Rebecca eventually. In 2003, Jane filed a petition for custody of Rebecca's daughter, Brooke. Brooke's father, Rebecca's ex-husband, joined the petition. The state claims that Jane filed for custody due to Rebecca's drug addiction. Rebecca testified that she had a nervous breakdown and had lost her health, so she did not oppose the change of custody. At the time of Jane's death, Rebecca had participated in recovery programs and had ceased recreational use of drugs and alcohol. Rebecca, her husband Brooke, and two uncles testified that Rebecca was living a sober life in Alabama, away from Jane. Rebecca testified that, on the date of the shooting, she left her home in Alabama and traveled to Booneville, Mississippi, to visit friends and family. She had heard from friends and relatives that Jane planned to sell the land Rebecca had deeded to her, along with Jane's own house and land. Rebecca testified that she was concerned because her mother worshipped that house, and she had lived there 40 years and never mentioned selling. Rebecca also had heard that Jane had been acting erratic. Rebecca said that she decided to go to Jane's house to check on her mother and to get some stuff off her chest. Only Rebecca and Jane were inside the house when the shooting occurred, and Rebecca and the state sharply disagree as to the course of events. The state maintains that Rebecca went to Jane's home with the pre-designed purpose of killing her because Jane was planning to sell the land that Rebecca had deeded to her in 1989, and because Rebecca was still angry with her mother over the 2003 custody transfer. The state claimed that both events, the land transfer and the custody transfer, resulted from Rebecca's past drug use. Rebecca testified that Jane saw her lift her pistol out of her purse to retrieve her keys from underneath it, and Jane lunged for it, saying, "Give me that damn gun." Rebecca claims that in the ensuing struggle, the gun discharged twice and both bullets hit Jane. Rebecca testified that Jane let go of the gun after the second shot, and Rebecca threw the gun on the couch. Jane called 911 and reported that Rebecca had shot her. Rebecca fled the house but quickly turned around and returned. She did not call 911 or try to administer first aid to her mother. The Circuit Court of Prentiss County sentenced her to life imprisonment.